Hi, my name's Kayla McCullough, and this is our evaluation report video. So in this report, we're going to go over what were the different evaluation methods we used, what were the different concept designs that we could have used, and how did we pull from each of them. So first, we have our alternate concept 1. So the way to deposit Grindelwald with this system was with a launching tube. The system is going to extend using gravity along sliders on both sides, top and bottom. The launcher was going to use a pneumatic to push the ball out and land into Azkaban, while very space effective. This is a very inconsistent use and way to do this. Next, we had an overhanging Niffler sorter. So the way it was going to work was just going to push the Nifflers and the gems, counting on the gems dropping to the ground and the Nifflers bouncing and rolling. Finally, we had our Dementor claw. So the Dementor claw will pick up. It'll scoop with the bottom part underneath and this top claw over. The claw very rarely actually grabs. And then that was an issue. And then also I was going to use this counterweight to egress all of this, which is not the best way to go about egressing. The counterweight is space ineffective. Next, we had the concept evaluation 2. So this one also used a counterweight, but it used pneumatic to extend it rather than gravity because that was a little inconsistent. We're going to be even less accurate launching this from a catapult, but even more space effective. We're going to use a Dementor slapper, which is going to put it in the opponent territory, which is a major plus. And then finally, we're going to have our sorter, which is a great one, which is the balls drop into the sorter and roll out, while when the gems do, they drop through the sorter onto the ground below. All of it is pulled in by this effector. Our third concept was similar to the last one, using an effector where the balls were pushed away and the gems dropped in. Except for this one, using pneumatics to extend, also used a winch to pull in. The winch is a very effective way to pull in. We really like the winch. This one extends and uses the ramp. The ramp is probably the steadiest of the so far. However, it requires being very, very close to Azkaban, and it's difficult. We had to use a switch to decide when the doors were open or closed, where in the past we would use an IR sensor. So the ball would roll down the ramp and in. This is definitely the most accurate way so far. Finally, with our Dementor grabber. So when the Dementor gets scooped onto this and it egresses, pulls it into our home territory, minimizing points. However, it does not put it into competitor territory. Finally, we have our fourth alternative, which uses a grabber to pick up the ball and place it, which is a very effective way to do it. It has this little effector where the balls are going to roll up and get pushed out, where the gems are going to get scooped in and dropped. We also have our claw for the Dementor, like the last one, where it's going to be picked up and egressed back home. This one uses gravity to extend, but it does use the winch to egress. Finally, we have our selected subsystem. So this is going to push out these sliders. Sliders are going to go out, and with a grabber, drop the ball into Azkaban. With this here, it's going to sort using that ramp system of the Niffler rolling away and the gem dropping through. And then finally, we have the side pedal that's going to push it into the enemy territory because we found that was going to be very valuable. It also uses a winch to rewind, as you might have remembered, being a very effective way to do that. Finally, we have our level 1 evaluation matrix. So our level 1 compares what does better, what does worse, and what does the same as the selected system. So you can see here how the first one did the worst, the third one was not great either, but the fourth and second design alternatives were actually surprisingly decent. They did worse for the second as far as all of the consistency and tennis ball placing, because that was the catapult. And this one didn't do as well when it came to the jewels and the Nifflers. However, with our level 2 matrix, we can see our selected system again being the best. The first system and the fourth system actually did best in this one, so we could see that the sensing the wall with the IR sensor was a great way to do it. Placing the tennis ball, not a great way. However, this one was fairly consistent with the Dementor, except for the grabbing mechanism. So you can see with these results how we've pulled the best of each method to create this peak performance in the selected system. We can also see here, we rated the importance. What we did for the importance was we just basically used the point values associated with each task. So obviously we needed the Dementor to be grabbed, obviously we needed the Dementor to be moved, and each of those has its respective point value. Then you multiply those by the scores, and you end up with the respective scores. Again, with our selected system coming in first, this time showing the fourth system doing best, because while gravity extends it, the grabber was the same, the Niffler system was decent, and the swinging bat by far was the best way to do the Dementors because it allowed us those maximum points when it came to getting the Dementor in the enemy territory. Those are our 3 different matrices. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. I hope you can see why we chose the system we chose. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.